Hello, welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Baltimore. I'm Nick Miller alongside Jeff Hoogland. How you doing?
I'm fantastic, Nick.
You have been a man wanting Modern Opens for as long as Modern has been a thing.
This is my favorite format. As soon as they added the 5Ks last year on Sundays, I started playing those.
Here we are, the first Modern Open, Baltimore.
Also the largest two-day Open we've had so far.
You don't have to tell me. You made the trek all the way from the Chicago area, basically.
Yep.
And you're playing Temur Moons.
Yep.
Which is a sub-strategy of the Blue Moons archetype we saw at the Pro Tour, not this year, but last year.
Yeah, definitely. And the format's kind of come around to a point where this type of strategy is really good again. It's very powerful against the Abzan decks that are in the field.
You look at the decks that did well at the Pro Tour outside of basically Twin, you've got Infect, a lot of non-basics.
Yep.
Abzan, a lot of non-basics. This deck seems very well poised for that.
Amulet, a lot of non-basics.
Only 26. So yeah, you've got 3 Blood Moon in the main deck along with a couple of Spreading Seas, and then what you would expect in a blue-red deck in Modern.
Yep, we've got a lot of the very typical standard good cards.
Now here's the thing. You've got green for Tarmogoyf, a way to close out the games,
Yep.
you know, really click them, and a way, as you said, make up for their own Tarmogoyfs.
Yeah, the best way to beat another Goyf is your own Goyf. Goyf also outclasses Siege Rhino very quickly most of the time, especially in a deck like this where we're playing cards like Blood Moon and Spreading Seas and Vidalcan Shackles. Our Goyfs are often 5/6s or 6/7s.
Right, wanted to mention the Shackles, another good way to take control of the board, especially with a deck with as many islands as you have. You're playing basics, but also your non-basics are all islands as well, basically.
Yeah, the mana base is a big reason to play this deck, I think, because in addition to constructing your mana base in a way that Blood Moon doesn't hurt you, it also means your mana base doesn't deal you a lot of damage. So you have a better matchup against the aggressive decks than a lot of the other 3-color decks do.
Right. So you've got Remand, you got little Spell Pierce, Mana Leak, Electrolyze, all that jazz. 2 Boomerang. Whose bulk box did you pull these out of?
I was actually digging through my bulk box yesterday, and turns out I didn't have any, so I picked them up at the booth.
All right. So special order.
Boomerang is just a fantastic tempo play. It's essentially a time walk when you're on the play. If they play a tap land on their first turn, you just Boomerang their land back to their hand, and if they just have that tap landing, they're going to have to move to hand size.
Wow. Did not think of that interaction, but yeah, if they're just playing the tap land, full value there. You also got some Vanillion clicks to go along with their Snapcaster Mages. You got to rebuy all this good stuff.
Yep.
Couple Cryptic Commands as well.
As our top end.
As a man that loves the Modern format, and why are you playing a deck that doesn't let anyone play any Modern?
Fun is a zero-sum game, so if I am having all of it, they are having none of it.
All right, so you get to have all the fun with this deck.
Yeah, and I really like, one of the other reasons I think Tarmogoyf is very good is that a lot of the decks in the format that Blood Moon isn't good against, Tarmogoyf is very powerful against. Like the other blue-red decks that are similar to this can't interact with Tarmogoyf profitably, so if Blood Moon's bad, their Goyf's an all-star.
So what is your main interaction here with something like Splitter Twin, which is obviously the most popular deck in the room today?
I actually think Splinter Twin's a very good matchup for this deck, and the reason for that is this deck very closely resembles what Splinter Twin wants to board into in this type of matchup. Whereas they have 8 to 12 combo pieces that aren't very good game 1, we only have 3 cards in our deck that aren't very good game 1.
You can disrupt them with Shackles.
They have a very hard time winning through Shackles,
yeah.
Yep. And then Goyf is there, of course, to close out the game very quickly for us.
Right. Let's take a look at the sideboard, because there's some spicy ones floating around in here as well.
And Modern gives us a great range of cards to play, just because the power level's a little bit lower than what Legacy is, so we get a little bit more interesting things to tackle.
First thing is a card we see a lot in Infect sideboards, Nature's Claim, a answer to all kinds of things from Spellskite to Blood Moon, of course. You're, of course, wanting to play Blood Moon.
Yep.
But what are you bringing this guy in?
Nature's Claim really shores up those matchups that are really hyper-aggressive. The really strong starts from Affinity and Infect are the ones that'll get you. Infect also tends to board in extra Wild Defiance against you, so Nature's Claim's a great card that like kills Inkmoth Exes and can tag their Wild Defiance if that hits the table.
Also hits Spellskite and things like that.
Yep,
that they have.
We're often the control deck. Even though we have Tarmogoyf to close the games, we're not an aggro deck by any means. So we'd much rather have the cheaper mana cost and have them get the 4 life with Nature's Claim.
The most efficient spell, of course.
Yep.
You got an Aether Spouts. What is this, standard?
So I played Pyroclasm in that slot. I played Anger of the Gods, every red sweeper, and I wanted something that was bigger and more certain to sweep the table. And one of my friends recommended Aether Spouts, and the card's very powerful. The auras can't interact with it. It takes all their creatures off the table, regardless of if they have Umbers on it. I won a game against Living End after they put a bunch of guys on the table and attacked, and we put them all right on top.
Seems pretty powerful there. You got a Vandal Blast for clearing out artifacts, of course.
Yep, you want one. I drew it in my game against Affinity earlier. Like, it's just a nice, good reset button.
Yeah.
It's also cheap, so you can bring it in against the Amulet decks to tag their Amulets.
Engineered Explosives is quickly becoming the go-to card a lot of decks are playing that just answers so many things in this format.
It's just so flexible. If you have 3 or more colors in your mana base, I really don't think you shouldn't be playing some number of them. And it's especially good in this build of this deck because it gives you an artifact to put in your graveyard to make Tarmogoyf bigger. You
have a lot of artifacts along with Spellskite and of course your Shackles in the main deck to help grow your Tarmogoyf.
Yep.
4th Blood Moon. Couple Magma Sprays, and then your like pet card. This is a card I don't think I've seen you not play in Modern. Flash Freeze.
I really like Flash Freeze. It does everything you really want to be doing. It counters Keranos, it counters Splinter Twin, Lightning Bolt, Infect creatures, Wild Defiance. It's insane against Scape Shift because they bring in Balos a lot of the time against a deck like this, and it counters that. You can also bring it in against these junk decks to tag Goyfs and Siege Rhinos.
Right. 1 negate, just another answer.
Yep, you just want extra counter spells against some of the combo decks in the format.
Well, Modern is here on the Open Series. You're a man who has been a lot on the Open Series as this Players Championship hoodie looking pretty good.
I really like this hoodie, Nick.
So you're looking to return there next year?
That would be ideal.
All right, well, I think there could be some Modern lined up for that event once it's figured out.
I would be ecstatic about that.
Jeff, thanks for sitting down with me here on the Sideboard. Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all weekend long for the action here in Baltimore.